All right, looks like we've got someone out there who's really keen on getting that broken wrist back in action.
Back to doing all the things they love. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got all this great info from IsoTone Physical Therapy.
And this is going to be an interesting one.
This is going to be a fascinating deep dive into their rehab plan. They've got this IsoTone device.
Right. It's a key part of their whole process.
That's kind of a key part of it. And what I find interesting is that it's not just like, here are the exercises you do. It really lays out a roadmap for your wrist's recovery and explains why each step matters.
Exactly. It's not just about getting that wrist moving again. It's about getting that full function back, that strength, and really importantly, preventing any future problems. And this plan really takes a structured, phased approach, which is absolutely crucial for healing properly.
So you're telling me this IsoTune device is more than just a fancy gadget?
Absolutely. One of the fascinating things about the IsoTone device is this thing they call dynamic resistance. It's like having a whole weight set all packed into one device.
Wow.
Instead of having to, manually adjust weights or resistance levels, the IsoTone automatically responds to the force you apply.
Okay, wait a minute. So does that mean if I push harder, it pushes back harder?
Exactly. The harder you're working, the more resistance it provides. It's like having a personal trainer built right into the device, constantly challenging you, but at that appropriate level.
That's so cool. But how do you know how much to push yourself, especially when you're healing?
Well, that's where this really ingenious feature called the effort gauge comes into play.
Okay.
It really helps tailor the workout to your exact needs at that stage of recovery. So, it's not about just powering through pain.
Right.
It's about listening to your body and progressing safely.
So it's like a built-in safety net that makes sure you're not overdoing it.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see why this IsoTone program is so personalized.
Yeah, and the plan really takes into account your specific injury, your age, all these different individual factors to create a really customized path to recovery.
And speaking of personalized, I see that this program really emphasizes pain management. It's not about just kind of toughing it out.
Absolutely not. Pain is your body's way of telling you that, hey, something needs attention.
Right.
And this plan incorporates strategies to minimize that pain, including warming up using proper medication if your doctor's prescribed it. And of course, using that effort gauge to avoid pushing too hard.
Right.
Oh, and don't forget cooling down after each session as well.
It's reassuring to know that discomfort is a normal part of healing, and there are ways to manage it.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about these 4 phases of recovery. They seem to build on each other in a really strategic way.
A phased approach is so essential because it allows you to gradually regain that strength and mobility without risking re-injury. You're basically retraining your wrist to move correctly and efficiently.
Okay, so phase 1. With the cast, so I imagine this phase is all about patience. You're waiting for those bones to knit back together.
Patience is definitely key, but it's not about sitting around doing nothing.
Oh.
Even with that cast on, you can do some gentle movements to keep the circulation going, to minimize stiffness. And you'll also be focusing on maintaining strength in that uninjured arm.
Wait, why is that important? It seems kind of counterintuitive to be working on the opposite arm when it's your injured wrist that needs the attention.
It might seem strange.
Yeah.
But think about it this way. By keeping your good arm strong, you're actually preventing muscle imbalances that could actually hinder your recovery down the line. Plus, you're helping maintain overall upper body strength, which can be a huge psychological boost,
That makes sense. It's about staying active and engaged in the process.
Exactly.
Even with a cast on. So what happens when the cast finally comes off in phase 2?
Phase 2, cast off.
Oh.
This is where we start to reintroduce movement to that injured wrist.
Yeah.
It's like taking those first tentative steps after being confined for a while. The plan introduces these gentle exercises like supported wrist circles.
Okay.
Which might sound very basic, but they're crucial for prepping your wrist for more challenging movements down the line.
So it's about easing back into things and gently kind of coaxing those joints back into motion.
Precisely.
And then that leads us to phase 3, early recovery. This is where things start to get really interesting with the IsoTone device.
Yeah.
Tell me how this dynamic resistance comes into play.
All right, so in phase 3, you'll start using the IsoTone for a wider range of movements. gradually increasing the challenge as your wrist is getting stronger. And remember that resistance is adjusting automatically based on the force you're applying.
Okay.
So you're constantly being challenged at the right level.
So it takes the guesswork out of knowing how much to push yourself.
Exactly. It's like having that personalized workout buddy who knows exactly what your wrist needs.
Okay, and then that brings us to phase 4, getting strong.
Yes.
This is where you really start to see the payoff for all your hard work. Really.
Got it. But it's not just about getting back to your pre-injury level. It's about potentially exceeding it.
Ooh, I like that.
Phase 4 really focuses on building endurance.
Okay.
Improving coordination and making that wrist even stronger and more resilient than it was before.
Wow, so you're not just recovering, you're like leveling up.
Exactly.
Oh, well.
And to make sure you're on the right track, the plan includes ways to objectively measure your progress.
Okay.
They use these outcome assessments to track things like grip strength and range of motion.
So it's like having a scorecard that shows you exactly how far you've come.
Exactly. It provides concrete evidence of your improvement, which can be incredibly motivating.
So we've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah.
We talked about the unique features of this IsoTone device and its dynamic resistance and the importance of this phased recovery plan, how it's tailored to your individual needs.
We've only just begun to explore this program, though.
Right.
There's so much more to discover about the specific exercises, the science behind them, and how they all work together to restore that wrist to its full potential.
I'm already feeling more knowledgeable and empowered about this whole process. But before we delve deeper into those specific exercises, let's take a moment to gather our thoughts and come back refreshed for the next part of our deep dive.
Welcome back. I'm excited to dig a little deeper into some of the more nuanced aspects of this wrist rehabilitation program. We were just discussing the IsoTone device and that unique dynamic resistance.
Yeah, it is fascinating how the device automatically adjusts the resistance based on the force you apply.
Yeah.
It really is like having a personal trainer built in. But I am curious about something. The source material doesn't mention any specific settings for the resistance. How does that work? Does the device somehow sense how strong you are and adjust accordingly?
That is a fantastic question. It really speaks to the ingenuity of this technology. The IsoTone doesn't have preset resistance levels like you'd find in traditional weight machines. Instead, it uses this sophisticated system of internal sensors and mechanics to respond to your movements in real time.
So it's like it's constantly analyzing your effort and adjusting the resistance to match.
Exactly. It's a truly dynamic system. As you exert more force, the resistance increases proportionally. It's like this constant push and pull interaction between you and the device.
That sounds incredible, but wouldn't that make it difficult to track your progress?
Yeah.
How do you know if you're getting stronger if the resistance keeps changing?
That's where the effort gauge comes in. Remember, it doesn't just monitor your exertion, it quantifies the force you're applying. And it does that by measuring the temperature increase inside the device. So as you get stronger, you'll be able to generate higher temperature readings with the same perceived effort.
So it's like having a built-in biofeedback system. That's pretty cool.
Precisely. It takes all the guesswork out of tracking your progress and allows you to see that tangible evidence of your improvement.
Wow. That's really impressive. Okay, I have another question about this 360-degree muscle engagement that the program keeps mentioning.
Yeah.
I get that it means working all the muscles around your wrist, but I'm still a bit fuzzy on how that actually works.
All right, well, let's paint a picture here. Imagine you're holding the IsoTone device, and it's designed to allow you to move your wrist through its full range of motion. Up, down, side to side, even in circles.
Right, I see those movements in the diagrams.
Now, as you're moving your wrist through these different planes of motion, the IsoTone's dynamic resistance is engaging not just those primary muscles responsible for that movement, but also the surrounding stabilizing muscles.
So it's like a whole wrist workout with every exercise.
Exactly. It's this multi-dimensional approach. It's really crucial because it mimics the way your wrist naturally moves in everyday life. It's not just about building strength, it's about restoring that coordinated functional movement.
This is starting to make a lot more sense now. It's like the IsoTone program has taken all the complexities of wrist mechanics and packed them into this one brilliant device.
That's a great way to put it, and that's why this whole personalized approach is so important. Every wrist injury is different.
Right.
And this program really allows for tailoring those exercises to your specific needs and limitations.
So it's not about blindly following a set routine. It's about understanding how your body's responding.
Absolutely.
And adjusting the program accordingly.
And that's where the guidance of a physical therapist is invaluable. They can assess your progress, make modifications to the plan, and ensure you're doing everything correctly and safely.
It sounds like a real partnership between you, the device, and your therapist.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get back to those 4 phases of recovery.
Okay.
We've talked about the first 3, but I'm really intrigued by phase 4, getting strong. What sets this phase apart from the others?
Phase 4 is all about bridging the gap between that basic recovery and returning to your pre-injury activity level. And, potentially even surpassing it.
So it's not just about getting back to normal. It's about becoming even stronger.
Exactly. This phase focuses on building endurance, improving that coordination, and enhancing your wrist's ability to handle, a wider range of movements and loads.
It sounds like this is where you start to see the real payoff for all that hard work you put in during the earlier phases.
Absolutely. Remember those outcome assessments we were talking about?
Yeah.
This is where they really come into play. Your grip strength should be significantly improved, your range of motion should be nearly at its full potential, and you should be able to do those advanced exercises with more control and less fatigue.
It's like you're graduating from wrist rehab with honors.
In a way, yes. But it's important to remember that healing's a journey, not a destination. Even after you complete the program, it's really crucial to keep incorporating some of those exercises into your routine to maintain all that hard-earned strength and mobility.
So it's not just about fixing the injury. It's about investing in long-term wrist health.
Precisely. Think of it as like preventative maintenance for your wrist. You've put in all work to rehab it. Now it's time to keep it strong and healthy.
Okay, I'm curious now to hear about some of those specific exercises in phase 4. Can you walk us through a few examples?
Sure. Let's start with the IsoTone Advanced Wrist Flexion and Extension exercise.
Okay.
This builds on the basic flexion and extension movements you practiced in those earlier phases, but now you're gradually increasing the challenge.
Wait, how do you increase the challenge if there are no resistance settings on the device? Do you have to, manually adjust something?
No. Remember, the isotone's resistance is dynamic.
Oh, right.
It automatically adjusts to the force you apply. So as you're getting stronger, you'll naturally exert more force, and the device responds by providing more resistance.
That is so clever. It takes all the guesswork out of knowing when to up the challenge. What other advanced exercises are included in this phase?
Another one is the IsoTone chest press, both arms. Now, this might sound like an upper body exercise, but it plays a really crucial role in wrist rehabilitation.
Really? I'm all ears. How does that work?
Well, as you press that IsoTone device forward and then bring it back towards your chest, you're engaging not just your chest muscles, but your triceps, biceps, even those muscles in your forearms.
So it's like a compound exercise that strengthens a whole chain of muscles, including those that support the wrist.
Exactly. And by using both arms, you're ensuring that you're developing strength symmetrically, which is essential for balanced movement, preventing imbalances that could lead to future injuries.
This is all so interconnected. It's amazing how seemingly unrelated exercises can actually contribute to wrist health. What other gems are hidden in this phase 4 treasure chest?
Well, there's the isotone assisted overhead stretch, both arms. Now, that might sound like a simple stretch.
Yeah.
But it's actually a very powerful tool for improving flexibility.
Okay.
And reducing tension throughout your upper body, including your wrists.
I'm always up for a good stretch. Tell me more.
As you raise that isotone device overhead with both arms, you're gently stretching your chest, your shoulders, the backs of your arms. This helps improve posture, increase range of motion in your shoulders, and even relieve some tension in your neck and upper back.
So it's like a full body tune-up with a focus on the wrist.
You got it. And by holding that stretch for an extended period, you're allowing those muscles to relax and lengthen, which can really enhance flexibility and reduce that risk of stiffness or pain.
This is all so fascinating. We've really gone deep into the nuances of this IsoTone wrist rehabilitation program.
We have.
From the unique features of the device to the importance of this phased recovery approach and those specific exercises that target those key muscle groups.
And we've only scratched the surface.
Right.
There's still so much more to explore in terms of the science behind these exercises and the individual modifications that can be made based on your, specific injuries and needs.
I'm already feeling more knowledgeable and empowered about wrist rehabilitation. And I'm sure our listeners too. But before we wrap up this deep dive, let's gather our final thoughts and come back with some key takeaways and insights for our listeners. All right, we're back, ready to wrap up our deep dive into wrist rehabilitation. We've been talking about this really interesting IsoTone program.
I bet our listeners feeling a lot more informed about that whole recovery process now, what to expect, all that.
Yeah, we've gone from feeling kind of immobilized by this broken wrist to feeling empowered with knowledge and a clear plan of action.
Absolutely.
And what I find really encouraging about this IsoTone program is that it's not just about healing the break. It's about understanding your own individual recovery journey.
Yeah, that's a really crucial point. There's no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to rehabilitation.
Right.
It's about working closely with your healthcare provider, listening to your body, and adapting the program to meet your own specific needs and goals.
And it's so important to remember that healing takes time. There are no quick fixes, but with the right approach,
right,
patience, and a good dose of perseverance, you can not only recover, but potentially end up with a stronger, more resilient wrist than you had before.
That's the ultimate goal, right? To turn this setback into an opportunity for growth and that enhanced resilience.
Absolutely. So to our listener out there who's ready to embark on their own wrist rehab journey, I'd say use this deep dive as a springboard. Talk to your doctor, ask questions, and don't be afraid to advocate for your own recovery.
And remember, you're not alone in this. There are countless people who have faced similar challenges, and they've emerged stronger on the other side.
Yeah, there's a whole community of support out there, and we're here to cheer you on every step of the way.
Absolutely.
Who knows, maybe this experience will even spark a newfound appreciation for just how incredible our wrists are. That complexity, that strength.
It's often through these challenges that we gain a deeper understanding and appreciation for our bodies.
Yeah.
And their ability to heal and adapt.
Well said. On that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
I think so.
We hope this exploration has left you feeling informed, empowered, and optimistic about your wrist's recovery.
Absolutely.
And until next time, keep those wrists strong and happy.